Today marks 1487 days sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, will empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today is a very, very important topic, and that is tracking. I love the saying that what is not measured, what is not tracked, doesn't get better. So we go through life without understanding if we actually getting better or not. We say that we're doing so many different things, but maybe we're doing different things the wrong direction altogether. And when you track something, you know that you're doing the right thing. So today we'll share 10 things, small things that we need to do to track those most important parts. Number one, sleep and quality plus hours. I think that the most important part is quality at the end of the day. Some people are sleeping 12 hours. They can track, oh, I'm sleeping 12 hours, but I always tired. Because at the end of the day, like if you think about really good sleep, quality is the most important thing because I think that so many times people just don't feel energized because they just sleep too lightly. And I think that we need to learn and develop habits around the sleep that we could be real, not light sleepers, but real deep sleepers. And I think that one of the best things that for me, I always understand it is how important is deep sleep. And when I sleep, some days I need 5, 6 hours, and for me is more enough. I think that's again, some days people say I need 7 or 8. But I think that it depends how deep you sleep. So being able to really track, and some days now we have those intelligent phones and rings and everything that really allows us to track that and see what we can do around sleep that we can improve the sleep. And then again, sleep leads to more energy leads to more actions leads to better results, better results leads more joy, more bliss. So of course it's extremely important to track sleep. Number two, mood, emotional state. So tracking, how do you feel? And I think one of the most important things to track is understand what is your emotional home. I learned from Adam Milet that every single person has a default mode. So when nothing is happening, you have some kind of emotional home. When something happening, but some kind of difficulty is bad, you have emotional home. When good things happening, you have emotional home. The default emotion that you feel during certain things. And somebody's can ask like, how how do you like your emotions? Maybe able to track it. So like maybe you said that you made a mistake. Rather than being disappointed and shameful and blameful for 2 days, maybe you can speed it up. Maybe even on a half days, maybe one day, maybe half a day, maybe an hour to really be disappointed. And learning how to be faster with your emotional states, I think that's again one of the best things to track. Understanding where those emotions coming from, what's triggers. Maybe there's certain habits, maybe certain people that really trigger something, and being able to, or maybe even certain thoughts, being able to understand that we're able to change our environment is just to make sure that we're able to have better mood. Number three, tracking energy levels. Again, energy is the most important thing in life. Without energy, you're not able to do anything. You don't. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how much time you have. If you do not have energy, you will not be able to do anything. That's why it's very important to track how much energy do you have, and as potentially we can ask, okay, what charges my energy, what drains my energy, and track those kind of things. And knowing that there is something that drains, something that charges. So what we need to do, allocate our time to the things that energize us rather than drain us. I think that this burnout is happening when people spend so much time on things that drains us without really spending any time on things that really elevates our energy. So tracking, understanding what is what, again, is extremely important. Number four is deep work or focus time. I think that again, this is extremely important to track because sometimes we can have 5 hours. We measure only hours, but how many deep focused time we had in that activity. Because your potential could be 5 hours working so but you have 50 tabs open, you have conversations with other people, have phone calls, you have texts. This is not actual deep focused work. You have just work. So tracking how many hours you actually had deep work where you have that focus, that flow, when you're able to shut everything around and being able to focus on one thing at a time. I think that's exactly what we need to track. So when you look at your 5 hours, don't track how many undisciplined hours you worked. sometimes even that could be a good start point, but not the end, because we need to measure how much deep and focus time we allocate to the things that matter. Number five, movement and exercise. Tracking, tracking how much better you are, how much you allocate into your, again, movement is a part of energy as well, because it elevates energy. So tracking how much you allocate to your exercise, to your movement, again, extremely important, because the thing is, I love really measuring progress. Like if you're able to bench 50, maybe 52, then 55, and 56, maybe 100, maybe 200, and just little, the small incremental improvements that leads to really very good results. Number six is nutrition quality. So tracking how well do you eat, how many times do you really cheat, and how many times do you really eat very healthy food. And I think that this is great to have that tracking, because when you see that you tracked very, very well with your food, you just really want to keep that tracking of your healthy food, that nutrition, because again, nutrition is one of the most important things, because it improves our energy, improves our focus, mood stability, sleep, because it's known that it depends on what kind of food you eat before you sleep could affect your sleep. So nutrition is extremely important to track, exactly understanding like, what kind of food you will eat and how my body reacts to it. So tracking that is extremely important. Number seven, stress and mental load. And that's again one of the things to be able to track. How many days do I feel stressful and where the stress is coming from, and track that. How stressful do I feel? And maybe even say like maybe I'm able to reduce the stress that I'm having in the same thing. Maybe able to have different perspective, different understanding, build different skill sets, just to make sure around the stress that I have more capacity to handle it, and tracking how well you handle it. Because sometimes when you really have stress, one person sees the same thing as stress, other person sees it as excitement, because it's to learn something new, something better. And I think that again, being able to track how well you handle that stress, maybe you felt that overwhelmed, but the next time you look at your, maybe it was a little bit less overwhelmed. And that's again where that you're tracking. How well do you manage yourself? Because emotional regulation is a skill set. So when you regulate and track your regulation, again, that's extremely important. Number eight is relationships. And again, this is partly emotional baseline. When you have relationship support, safety net is extremely helpful. And being able to see, tracking, okay, what kind of relations do I have? How many true friends do I have? What kind of relations do I have? And track that. How many deep conversations do I have with people? How many surface level conversations I have? What kind of people around me? Do they elevate me? Do they train you? Do they put you back, hold you back? Are they just neutral? And being able to track all those conversations, I think is extremely important. And again, what your friends is telling about you, do your friends have something in common for your vision? Of all those things, it's extremely important to measure and track. Number nine is wins, and of course, plus progress. I think that's when you track progress, when you track wins, you have discipline and resilience to really make everything. I think that we make a lot of mistake to really have that massive vision, but really not create milestones as small tasks and activities that could bring us more wins. The more wins we acknowledge, the more wins we track, the more we're able to have confidence in ourselves, in our abilities, and those abilities and skill sets has more, allows us to have more courage. And of course, we have, because of that, more wins and more progress. And that's again a circle. We have more wins, more progress, that has better attitude. Better attitude leads to better actions, and more better actions leads to better wins. And last one, number 10, is values alignment. I think that's very, very important to track our actions, our visions, our goals, and say like, how many actions do I take towards vision, and track them? And how many actions do I take based on values? Because I think that sometimes we just take action because we think that is the right thing to do, but after we review, we reflect on that, and maybe it was out of alignment. And tracking how many times per week we are outside of our values. Even, for example, if like I want to be extremely healthy and maybe I cheat and I ate unhealthy food so that I basically was acting out of my values. So being able to track how many times you actually acted with your values and outside the values, I think is extremely important. And there's more things that we're able to track, but I think that's like extremely great start to think, okay, what do I need to track to become the best version of me? So I hope you choose something and see you tomorrow.